Welcome to the conversation at airsafe.com. I'm your host, Todd Curtis. On March 22, 2016, Brussels, Belgium was attacked by at least 3 bombs that targeted both the airport and a subway train. Later that day, I had a conversation with CJOB Radio of Winnipeg, Canada, where I discussed the security arrangements at airports in the U.S., Canada, and elsewhere, and how the kind of attack that occurred at the Brussels airport could be executed in airports around the world.
Welcome back to Richard Cloutier Reports on 680 CJOB.
From the AirSafe Foundation, formerly worked for Boeing and the American Air Force, Todd Curtis joins us now on 680 CJOB. Good to talk with you again. You've flown in and out of that airport. Can you kind of describe that departure area for us and how vulnerable it is to an attack?
Well, that departure area, well, once again, thanks for having me. That departure area is very similar to airports in North America in that you have a secure zone beyond which you can't take guns and contraband, and there are security personnel. But the beginning part of it, driving up to the airport, going into the check-in area, that's all open to the public. Anyone can drive up off the street or come by public transit and enter that area. And just as what happened in Brussels today, there have been events in North America in recent years where you have someone in the non-secure area of the airport attacking the airport. In fact, Los Angeles has had 2 events where people have walked up and shot and killed a TSA person in one case and attacked the LL check-in counter in another case. So these dangers are real. And unfortunately, because it is a publicly accessible facility, this sort of thing that happened in Brussels could happen in Canada or the U.S. tomorrow or even today.
You have described every airport, every major airport in that sense as well. It's the balance between being open and wanting to pick or greet a loved one as opposed to having a lot more security. Have you been to airports where they don't really let you on the grounds? They screen you off the grounds if you're trying to get there? I would think that would not be the case in most Western nations.
Even in some non-Western nations, I've traveled in airports throughout the world, and even in places that have had, let's say, a more authoritarian regime in charge. And even in those cases, at least in the public areas, that is driving up to the airport or coming into the departure area and check-in area, it's possible for the general public to go there without being screened for explosives or without being patted down and what have you. So again, these are, in a sense, as some of the security experts would describe it, a soft target. That is, part of it is open to the public, and there's very little, if any, screening. So an attack like this, if someone's motivated enough, can be easily executed.
We're getting better, though, at screening. And I say better, we're not best yet, simply because we've seen all sorts of weapons get through. And certainly the controversy in the United States with people that work for airports or work for airlines not being checked. They're randomly checked, but not enough, and getting through with explosives and weapons there. But how safe can we make our airports in a situation like this? Because when these types of situations happen, we always ask the question, that balance between security and safety, and for us, the traveling public, to be able to live our lives.
Well, that question's asked all the time, and specifically in the U.S. context when it comes to guns. An example I like to point out is that not only are guns, it's possible to bring guns to the airport. In fact, the rules are set up so that if you wanted to ship a gun in the checked baggage area, you would actually bring it into the terminal to the check-in counter. So the structural rules that are in place in the United States allows you to legally bring not only weapons but ammunition into the terminal. So if you wanted to tomorrow ban guns from all areas of the airport, you would run into constitutional and legal issues at a federal and state level, and there would be many organizations that would work diligently to keep that freedom open.
Todd Curtis joining us live on 680 CJOB from the AirSafe Foundation, formerly worked for Boeing and the American Air Force.
For more information on airline safety and security, please visit airsafe.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.